At-home order in the southeast has ended. That's coming from the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Taoreed Lagbaja. He stated this in the nation's capital during the Chief of Army Staff combined second and third quarter conference, where he affirmed that the menace ended due to the heightened efforts of troops in collaboration with relevant stakeholders. On insurgency, the Army Chief said the activities of Boko Haram and other terrorists have been curtailed, adding that residents of the troubled state have now commenced commercial activities.
Focus will be against banditry, kidnapping and other related crimes in the northwest, the insurgency and the terrorism in the northeast, farmers-herders clashes, kidnapping in the north central, the insurrection that is brewing in the southeast, and even economic sabotage and associated crimes in the south-south region. So we're not going to leave any of these zones unprotected or without attention.
Chief of Army Staff Lieutenant General Taoreed Lagbaja there. I'm joined now by National Publicity Secretary of Ohanaeze Ndigbo Worldwide, Chidozie Ogonia, who joins me live from Enugu. Thank you for joining us on the program. Can you confirm indeed that the sit-at-home has ended, particularly in Enugu where you are?
I'll inform that sit-at-home is no longer as it was in the past. People are relaxing on the idea of sitting at home. On the other hand, people are getting on to work now in Enugu. And when this started, people thought it was the right thing to do. But over time, they have realized that it's like facing the barrel of the gun to yourself, facing the barrel of the gun inwards. They discovered that it's affecting the economy, it's affecting the social life, it's increasing on insecurity, and the rest of them. So many people are no longer even interested in the sit at home. So by the time the governor of Enugu pronounced that the sit at home should come to an end, many people embraced it. But even at that, some people are still a little afraid. But ultimately, every Monday, there is a social economic activity in Enugu State.
So we hear that this progress is a function of efforts of troops in collaboration with relevant stakeholders. You talked about the governor's instruction of sealing up shops that refuse to open on Mondays. But let's try to x-ray why you think people refuse to open their shops at some point. Was it the fear factor or solidarity to the IPOB philosophy?
Yeah, initially, by the time it started, it was a solidarity. There was no doubt. But shortly after, by the time IPOB even said they were no longer issuing the sit-at-home order, the people were prepared to come out for their business. But non-state actors who took over the place, some miscreants took over the place. So people were afraid, not because they didn't want to go to work or didn't want to open their shops, but they were afraid of the consequences of coming out. The non-state actors that went on, enforcing the sit-at-home were more than the official security operatives. So it became a problem on the sit-at-home days. We see any people, but like I said, what is the more important is consciousness of the people. Initially, the consciousness was like a solidarity, but later on, the consciousness changed. People began to think better. That is not even to any person's advantage. So by the time the governor pronounced it, all of them came out en masse, demonstrating support. So you can see that it is possible that one may claim, like security operative may claim they did that. But more importantly is that the consciousness of the people was also essential in promoting the exercise at all points. It was an important factor in the sit-at-home, and also the consciousness of the people was an important factor in stopping the sit-at-home.
What has now happened to the activity of these non-state actors you've talked about? Many of them who reportedly do not subscribe to the philosophy of the sit-at-home in the first place. Can
Yeah,
you?
when I mean consciousness, it permeates across board. Like there were people who were enforcing it, but later on they came to realize that they were doing themselves. They came to realize that they are not doing themselves and their relatives any good. But initially they were enforcing it. But when I mean the consciousness, it permeates all the strata of society. So those people who are even enforcing it, we are part of the people who are now saying it should no longer be enforced. I hope you understand.
I hear you, Mr.
So anything
Ogonia.
at all.
I was even going to ask about the activity of the non-state actors, those who foment trouble and cause violence in form of killings and abduction. Can you tell if that has reduced drastically with
Yeah, it has
the
reduced. That's
operations in
what
the
I'm trying
field?
to explain, but try to understand me.
Yes.
Everything depends on the consciousness, the understanding of the people. I hope you understand. Initially, it was like IPOB to support Nnamdi Kanu, sit at home. But later on, even when they know they support Nnamdi Kanu, the thinking of average Igbo now is no longer sitting at home. That's what I mean by consciousness.
All right.
And when I say average, including non-state actors, are part of the society. So they also began to realize that it's not necessary that enforcing the sit at home. So it is like an understanding has gone through all the strata of the society that the issue of sit at home should stop, that is doing nobody any good. So that's what I'm saying. So what used to be non-state actors, apart the fact that they have been curtailed, some of them have also relaxed their enthusiasm in the sit at home because it's a new understanding.
All right.
I hope you understand.
I hear you, Mr. Ogonia. Let's quickly talk about Nnamdi Kanu. He reportedly wrote a letter to Sam Ekpa instructing the sit-at-home to end and declaring Mondays economic empowerment days. I'm wondering if you can confirm that story. But on the contrary, we understand that Mr. Ekpa has continued its violent approach in the secessionist movement. How significant or strategic is Nnamdi Kanu's release to the continuing peace in the Southeast?
Okay, you asked two questions. Let me see if I can take the two. When you talk about Simon Ekpa and Nnamdi Kanu, evidently Nnamdi Kanu has more followership than Simon Ekpa. So people who sympathize with Nnamdi Kanu are more in number than the followers of Simon Ekpa. So at any time there's a conflict of directives between Ekpa and Nnamdi Kanu, evidently the one of Nnamdi Kanu will overwhelm the one of Ekpa. So even when two of them might be saying the same at a point, but the difference is clear about the followership of Nnamdi Kanu and the followership of someone. So that one is yeah. So you asked another question about.
I was asking if the release, if Nnamdi Kanu's release would be instrumental to, a more permanent peace situation in the Southeast.
Yes. Yeah, let me put it this way. People quickly misunderstand what is happening in the Southeast. You see, what people are talking about is that it has been an orchestrated alienation and migration of people from the centers of power and authority. It's very regrettable. It's also, you find that the policy framework of the central government is tilted against the people of the Southeast. Look at what happened the other time. They are all, in fact, all the military personnel, the military, paramilitary, and so on, the security operatives, no chief executive was allocated to the Southeast. So, in fact, even the ministries, no grade A ministry was also assigned to the people of the Southeast. Even the time when they say, when we know that the zoning and the rotation of power have become entrenched in the political norm of Nigeria, when it was said to be turned on the Southeast, we saw the kind of politics that associated with it. So people are angry about some of these things. So what you find about Nnamdi Kanu and the agitation is an expression of reality on ground. And that is why it's difficult. So to stop it, for example, is to stop promoting nepotism, to stop promoting what all forms of policies against the people of Southeast. Come to the rules in the Southeast, they're all dilapidated. There's no serious thing going on to show that they are part of the country. You will hear somebody carrying railway line to the not what do you call it, Niger Republic, where there's no railway line in the southeast. A lot of things that are obviously again people of southeast. So what you find in Nnamdi Kanu, that is expression of reality on ground.
I hear
what
you,
you call
Mr.
agitation.
Ogbonia.
So agitation, yeah. Now let me answer it now. So when you release Nnamdi Kanu, for example, the agitation was because they see Nnamdi Kanu as a symbol
Mr.
of the
Ogbonia,
socio-economic reality on ground.
I want you to wrap in about 30 seconds because we have to go now.
It.
All right, Mr. Ogbonia.
So I've expressed it.
That's pretty much our time on the program. We probably will continue this conversation some other time as we look forward to exploring some of the engagements, the government engagement in that part of the country.